Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to talk about the low income earners in Germany. I have been in Germany for a couple of years now, and I also know what it means to be a low income earner. A matter of fact, my first job was a minimum wage. I was working in a paper fabric in Bavaria, and back then I was earning some like 80 euro, 80 cents, and trust me, that wasn't great at all, but back then it felt like the world to me because it was my first job. This video is not to belittle low income earners like at all. It's just to inform you so that you can make like informed decisions about your future. Welcome to Dr. Kane. Here we inspire the workforce of today and tomorrow. And today we will dive into 10 lowest paid professions in Germany, exploring the training needed to do these professions as well as the annual gross median income. These informations might vary depending on the source. At least my source, I'm going to put them in the description below. And if you have any problem with information provided in this video, please leave us a comment. We're going to take a look at it. According to the German Institute of Finances, the gross annual median income in Germany is 43,750 euro per year or 3,645 euro per month. The reason why I use the median instead of the average, I'm going to explain it later in the video, but I thought it would be important for you to know what most of the people living and working in Germany are earning. I also want to make something else clear. Depending on where you live, your cost of living might be different, which means if you earn 40,000 euro and you live in Bavaria, like in Munich for example, you're going to have a totally different lifestyle than if you earn the same amount of money and you live in Kaiserslautern, for example. So keep that in mind. But we're not going to get into this detail. I just wanted to make you I'm just trying to give you an overview of the salaries in Germany right now. Independently on where you live, the professions I'm about to talk about in this video are at the low end, are more likely to be in the low end across all the regions in all the cities in Germany. And also, I didn't count people that are in the training or illegal jobs, so keep that in mind. At the top of our list, we have the courier, or well known as the delivery guy. It is definitely a great way to stay active and know more about your city, and depending on your employer, you might have a sense of flexibility or freedom. This job requires you to have a driving license and a good sense of orientation, and depending on the company you work in, you might also need to make a training with the company, like an internal company training. When it comes to the salary, you are going to be around the 27,000 per year or around the 2,200 per month. While some career jobs offer a lot of flexibilities, others unfortunately offer long hours of working, unpredictable weather, and also unpredictable traffic. The second profession on the list is going to be the kitchen staff. I also want to point out that when I say kitchen staff, I'm not talking about the helpers in the kitchen and not the cook. Formal training through apprenticeship is available, but there are also positions that can be learned on the job. The annual median income in this case will also be around the 27,000 or 2,200 per month. And you also need to know that it's a really stressful environment with long working hours, and sometimes you're also going to work on the weekend. If you like the video so far, don't forget to put a thumbs up or follow the channel. Apparently it helps the YouTube algorithm. The next profession on the list will be the cashier. You get to interact with people all day, and it can be a good way to get your foot through the door of retail management. About the training, it depends on where you want to work. It's not always necessary, and sometimes or most of the times those companies are going to have their own training program. When it comes to the gross median annual salary, you're more likely to be around the 26,000 or something around the 2,200 per month. This can also be a stressful job and with long hours where you're going to have to stay long on your feet. So be mindful. The next on our list is the laundry worker. This job typically requires an on-the-job training, which means you don't really need a specific degree or training to get started in the job. You're going to be trained by your employer. The gross median income in this job is around the 26,000 or 2,100 per month. And you have to know that it's a really repetitive and physically demanding profession, which involves long hours in a really hot environment. It's time for some math. Before we continue, I think it's important for you to understand the difference between the average and the median. We're going to take the context of this video, like we're talking about salaries, so we're going to try to take examples about salaries. Let's say we have 10 accountants and they all have their salary. If I wanted to calculate the average salary of these 3 accountants, I would add the salary of all those 3 accountants and divide it by 10. In this case, we have 33,300 euro. In the case of the median, I'm just going to order those salaries from the lowest to the highest and take the salary which is in the middle. But in this case, we don't have a really middle. This is why I'm going to take the average of the 2 salaries that are in the middle. And in this case, we're going to have 32,500. You might be asking, and so what? The fact is that in this society, sometimes you're going to have people that are going to earn, like in this case, like maybe too much. And the result that we're going to have from the average is not going to be representative of the group anymore. I'll give you an example. Let's say that the 10 accountant is not earning 45,000 anymore, but he's earning 200,000. In this case, the average will be 48,800. But the median will still stay the same, which is 32,500. So, and you can see that in case number 1 with the median with 22,500, I still represent the accountants in this group. But with the result of 48,000, it doesn't sound right, because most of the accountants earn less than 48,000. I hope you could understand. This is why, to avoid having results that doesn't represent the population, I prefer to take the median, because with the median you can be sure that, or with the median you're more likely to have a more representative result. The next on this list is cleaning staff. It is a quiet job and you get a lot of satisfaction from its flexibility. This is why it's most of the time great for parents or students. About the gross median annual income, it's around the 26,000 or 2,100 per month. You also have to note that it's a really physically demanding job with non-standard hours. The next one on the list is the receptionist. Depending on where you work, you interact with different people from all over the world, and you're the first impression of the business. But training isn't always required depending on where you work. For example, if you work in a medical practice, you're going to need a training. But if you work in a hotel, for example, you're going to need a training. And the gross median annual income in this case is also going to be around the 25,000 or 2,100 per month. Note that this job can be connected with long hours and also shift work. The next on the list is call center worker. You need to be patient and have good communication skills. Sometimes you're really going to help people in a good way. For this job or for this profession, you don't really need a training, and even when you need a training, it's going to be given to you by your employer. The gross median annual salary in this case will be around the 25,000 or 2,100 per month. Also note that you're going to have to deal on a day-to-day basis with frustrated customers, which can also take a toll on your psychology. The next on the list is going to be waiter or waitress. Waiter and waitress work in a really high-paced and stressful environment where you really have to be good at multitasking and also good at communication, because you're going to have to deal with a lot of difficult customers. But the good side is also the fact that you're going to meet really interesting people, or at least you can meet interesting people. When it comes to training, it's really most of the time not required. Depending on where you work, it can be required, but in that case, as the other jobs, you're going to be trained by your employer. The gross median annual income is going to be around the 23,000 or 1,900 per month, and we didn't take into account the tips. You also have to know that working in that environment, you're going to have to deal on a day-to-day basis with long shifts, with shift work, with long hours, and with standing on time. And the next one is the dishwasher. I don't mean the machine that washes the dishes, but I mean the people that work in the kitchen and that are responsible for the machines that wash the dishes, or that have to wash them themselves in case it's too complicated for the machine. It's a fast-paced environment, but it's also a good way to put your foot in the restaurant industry. A formal training is actually not required. The gross annual median income is around the 21,000 or 1,800 per month. You also have to know that it's a stressful environment, really physical, and you're gonna have to work in hot and humid places most of the time. Thank you very much for staying with me so far. I hope you learned something from this video, and hope to see you in the next video. Ciao.